This is going to be an amazing call today, looking at what do people have to do in their daily lives, what are some small actions that they can take to reduce weight, improve strength and stamina, reduce their body fat, get better muscle mass, performance, have more energy without having to use stimulants. And I'm going to be sharing a few secrets on this webinar today, some new research that we're doing, excuse me, and I think we're going to be unveiling the finished study at the conference in October. But I do want to let everyone in on what we're doing behind the scenes. And if you stick around, what you're going to be able to see is how you can get a minimum amount of exercise, yet get maximum results from it. So we're talking about 50 seconds of resistance training per week and 40 seconds of cardio. So if you think that you can commit to 2 minutes of exercise per week, then I would say stick around and we're going to talk through that. I love our brand partners and customers, the people in our community, because they're absolutely amazing human beings and they have such great goodness in their heart and they just want to do good to help people. So in this spirit, what we're going to be looking at is how can we have the longest life possible? How can we stay as young as possible for as long a period of time so we can be around for our significant others, for our kids, for our friends, and have great productive lives. Now, with respect to exercise, we all know the benefits of exercise, so you don't need to hear that again. But I want to talk about a few things that would be some information that you might not have. And the first thing is that not only is exercise great for our health and longevity, but it literally triggers changes in our epigenome, meaning that exercise has the ability to reset genes to a more youthful state. Now, it's not a lot. It's estimated to be about 78 genes that are reset to a more youthful state. But the point is that when you are exercising, you are telling your body, hey, I am alive and I need this muscle mass, I need this bone density to function. So exercise is a lot more than just staying healthy. It is something that we do to keep ourselves younger. Now, the question is, a lot of us are busy and we don't have a lot of time for exercise. But what I would say is that if you are exercising, that you're going to have more energy during the day and you won't have to rely on stimulants like caffeine. Richard Branson, he once said that one of the most important things that he does is get up in the morning and exercise because he finds that he's more productive the rest of the day. Static contraction training. There is some good reading material about this online, and there are a number of books written by John Little and Pete Sisko. I have those books. They're very, very good, so I would recommend them. But essentially, this is from research that goes back to the 1950s that talks about how this isometric training, which is training in which you're not moving, but you're applying pressure against a resistance, is capable of building muscle in a very short period of time, 10 seconds. So we're currently doing a clinical study with a group of about 50 people. And what we're doing is having these participants exercise 50 seconds once per week. The workouts are divided into two different segments, your A group and your B group. So during the first week, you'll do pushing exercises, such as bench press, where you're pushing away from the body. On the following week, you're doing pulling exercises, like rows, where you're pulling a weight towards the body. Now, what we're trying to show is that if you take an exercise like a bench press and you're applying force against a resistance that you can't move for only 10 seconds, that's enough stimulus to trigger strength and muscle increases. And of course, we're using our patches in these studies to show that you can use the patches and gain strength and stamina faster than just in the control group. So if we were using an example, let's say that you were on something called the Smith machine and you were to take the weight off of the bench, you would only have your arms extended almost completely, so they're just bent a little bit. And the idea is that if normally you could do a maximum of 150 pounds in a bench press, in a static contraction, you can apply a lot more force to that muscle. Let's say maybe that's 200 pounds or more. And so anyway, that's what we're doing. And I'll be sharing those results, I hope, at conference in October. But this would be something worth reading up on. And if you're just getting started back into exercise, I'm not a medical doctor, speak with your doctor, but this is a way to have minimal amounts of time, yet achieve still results in strength, stamina, muscle gain, and even reduction in body fat. Okay, well, if this is going to work for muscle training, what about cardio? And I've got some great news here as well. There's some new research out that is showing that we can do as little as 2 sets of an exercise and still get better results than if we were doing more. Now, this goes back to people like Arthur Jones and Mike Menser. Mike Menser was a professional bodybuilder. Arthur Jones developed Nautilus equipment. There's probably more information today about sports science and what works for some people and not others. But the point is, I want to apply this to a study that I'll share with you on cardio, is what this means is that you can do as little as 40 seconds of cardio. And doing that twice a week is the equivalent of 2.5 hours of steady state cardio training. So this article details some of this information, but I'll tell you how it's done, and I'll share with you what I've been doing. So I have a treadmill and an elliptical machine, and I prefer the treadmill because I like to do sprints. So I'll get on the treadmill at 6 a.m. and I'll walk for 10 minutes as a warm-up. And then after that, I will do a 20-second sprint for as fast as I can go. I will then rest for about 3 minutes, 4 minutes, and then I will repeat that again for another 20 seconds, and that's it. And the studies are showing that if you are going as fast as you can, as hard as you can, that those 2 brief 20-second sprints are enough to cause changes in your heart and your cardiovascular system. Now, if you're overweight and you're new to exercise, I would recommend that you don't do this starting out. Instead, start with something that would be much more mild, like walking. And follow some of the other recommendations here with regards to supplementation, patches, what you do about your diet, drop some extra weight, get your cardiovascular system moving again, and then start to incorporate some of these more advanced techniques. But what it shows is that if you have a minimal amount of time there are ways that you can exercise to optimize the results. And I've definitely found that this method works, and it saves on a lot of boring cardio.